Welcome to another show of Business Africa. On our show today we have the CEO of the Association of Hotel and Restaurant in Mauritius. Tell me about Jocelyn.
Well, I have spent most of my time, professional career, as a consultant. I used to work for a large company here, a large management consultancy company, where my main area of specialization was market research and economic consulting. I'm new to the position I hold right now. I've been here for the last 2.5 years only. Just before joining AHRIM, I spent a little more than 5 years as the General Secretary of the Mauritius Chamber of Agriculture. So all in all, it's about 22 years of professional involvement in the Mauritian economy as a keen observer and a keen contributor to all policy orientations we want to take as a country.
And now you're heading AHRIM. Can you tell us about the Mauritian tourism sector, how it has evolved so far, and what has been the success of this industry?
The Mauritian tourism industry is quite experienced, I would say. Some people mention a history and experience of about 60 years. The association itself boasts 40 years of existence last year. So our tourism industry is well known for its position as resort, long-haul, tropical island, holiday resort, looking at the upmarket segments of I would call the affluent travelers. So over the years, this position, I would say, has been serving the country in a very significant manner, and we tend to think that today tourism is one of the major contributors to the local economy.
And we've also known we've went through the difficult economic crisis in 2008 up to now. How this industry managed to survive that crisis?
I think 2009 was a turning point. Up to 2009, in spite of what could have happened in terms of the cost of air travel or various hiccups that worldwide economy could go through, the tourism industry in Mauritius was doing very well, extremely well. The growth path was consistent. Year in, year out, the industry was boasting more arrivals, and year in, year out, there was sort of growing investment into the accommodation sector, the destination management companies sector, and excursions and all. So all in all, prior to this crisis year of 2009, the industry was doing extremely well. Post 2009, I think we've reached a turning point. We did have an industry pickup in 2010 that was excellent for the morale of all the industry and all. So in some way, the investment being projected for the industry were pursued because of the positive signal that we received in 2010. Unfortunately, 2011 and onwards, we only experienced sort of stagnation in terms of growth of the sector. The optimistic ones would say that it's not too bad given the context. This is where all the various efforts that we have been looking at in terms of re-examining and revisiting the product, looking again at how the country is positioned, looking at how and to what extent the market has gone down, and also incidentally at the same time we did see an emerging group of, I would say, direct competitors who are the Maldives and Seychelles. These two countries have been doing extremely well post 2009 compared to Mauritius on the main criteria of tourist arrivals and probably tourist earnings, but otherwise in terms of what we have to offer and what we can add on and enrich in terms of product offerings, certainly Mauritius has a lot of catching up to do, and we are confident that we can raise the mark in the what I call a changed world today. To just illustrate what I'm saying, in terms of air service, in the older days you would have airline companies willing to service Mauritius and trying to negotiate rights and all. Today the relationship has changed completely. The airline companies would have the last word in terms of deciding whether they're going to fly in here, and the crisis had it that the airline companies today are the ones who can still manage the yield, manage the decisions they want to take in terms of flying here, or looking at the opportunity revenue that they are getting by flying elsewhere. So a combination of factors, I tend to say. Market has gone down, competition has gone up, and the product itself has been challenged in terms of how well they respond to consumer expectations, how far we can meet and keep up the promise that we made. And also we talked about emerging markets, which form part of our diversification strategy, but I think we can also talk about changing behaviors of our traditional travelers. Today, requirements and expectations are different. You have, for instance, a strong requirement for what I call ethical tourism, for instance. Those are new values that are being promoted, and on these areas, fortunately, we're doing very well. So there are a number of things that certainly we may have missed, and certainly the world has changed, but we know that we need to tackle a number of issues in a more decisive manner. We need to know what would be the policy in terms of what we want to achieve for air service and air connectivity. Some people would tend to believe that what we call the hub carriers are the future of the travel industry, and travel and tourism are obviously very much linked when we talk about long-haul destinations. So there are a number of things that are there, that are happening, and we are trying our best to sort of rethink our way of doing things. We need to have a more concerted approach also in terms of the way the investment is being carried out in the sector, the way the revenue is being redistributed, the way the carrying capacity is going to be managed, and the way we want as a country to set ourselves as leaders of the region, or of the sub-Saharan Africa region or Indian Ocean region.